Hello everyone, this is the first episode of the podcast. Yay! In this episode we were joined by Tommy, Ethan, Gabby and Addy. Wow, what a full house. That's really cool.
And in today's episode we'll discuss whether it's right to protest during the pandemic, the issue of racism in our society, and whether we should pull down controversial statues or not.
And also racism as a whole, how systematic and big of a deal it is, that kind of thing.
If you want to be on the next episode, message us on Instagram at @wrangle_podcast. We record these episodes at 4:30 every Sunday.
But without further ado, let's go into the podcast. That is very true. That's the takeaway message from this, really.
Yes.
I think. How are you doing, Addy?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good.
Oh,
I'm doing
good.
cool, thank you. Are you in a different house from last
No,
time?
I'm in my same house. The usual mirror and my usual stairs.
It's light outside, so I guess you're back, are you?
Oh yeah. I'm back to UK.
That's
Alright,
the difference,
cool.
I
I've
think.
been back for a while ago.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. Wait, how? I think it's. Oh yeah. Today's my third week.
Cool.
Today it's been
Nice.
3 weeks now.
What was it that triggered you to come back?
Well, there were flights, and I was attempting to come back earlier, but we couldn't because no flights. After that, suddenly there were a bunch of evacuation flights, and we came on the first one we could.
Oh god.
Alright.
Well, it's good that you're back, Addy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change anything here, but yeah.
I have an important
Oh.
question.
We've frozen.
Can I say swear words?
We did have that question asked by someone else, and the answer is a enthusiastic yes.
Thank
Oh.
fucking God.
Yes.
Okay, good. Otherwise, I would have to constantly mute myself.
We're going to get into some saucy topics, everyone.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to restrain
Saucy.
yourselves.
Oh. I don't know how to feel about that.
I feel hot. I don't know why. It's kind of warm today. Oh, humid. It's humid. I'm feeling
Is it
sweaty.
thundering where you are, Addy?
No. It
It was
was
earlier.
sizzling. There's no thunder or lightning.
I just wanted to see if I could actually do that.
Tommy!
Tommy, did you kick me from the
Sorry,
car?
Ethan, I was testing.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Testing.
Testing it.
Right.
Of course you tested it on me.
Why
How
can't
lovely.
you can remove you? Jesus.
This is why.
Wait, so who's who? I'm not sure. Who's the blonde? Blonde one.
That's Gabby. If you
Oh, that's
move
Gabby,
over a
yes.
second, you can see who they are.
Well, that's the issue. That usually happens, but it's not popping up today.
That's not very fortunate.
Oh, there we go. It's working now. Okay, so what topics are we doing today?
We've got a lot of saucy ones. Just one thing, Oscar, have you pressed record on your phone, by the way?
No, I'll do it now. Yeah, I've kind of set up my phone. Actually, I need to turn. The sun's coming in my room, and the sun's nice, but it's kind of gets in the way, and it's messes up the lighting a bit.
I realise I've been muted.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got my phone set up, and it's ready to go. I'll turn it on now, but I'll turn it on when we go. But
Got a
yeah.
fancy little-
Tommy, did you mute yourself, Tommy? And me?
Well, I mean, I muted you before.
Tommy
and then I
cannot
muted
be
myself,
trusted
yeah.
with any form of power.
I
I
have
don't know why I have
been
this.
I've been talking to myself this whole time. I'm a fool. So many buttons. Why are there so many
Is
buttons?
there a name for this podcast?
Yes, there is.
Big Wrangle.
Oh,
The Big Wrangle.
Mr. Jackpot came up with that
yeah,
one.
I followed you. Oh, I just remembered. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Wrangle.
The real question is: Are you doing
How did you
the
come up with the
traditional
name?
podcast intro?
We asked Sam to make a podcast intro noise. I don't know if that's what you mean.
I meant oh hello everyone and welcome to the Big
Hey,
Wrangle.
Oh,
Don't forget
What's up, guys?
comment and subscribe. Turn on post notifications.
Exactly.
Yay.
Follow us on Spotify and Apple iTunes on I don't know podcast platforms.
If you don't press the like button, then you'll have bad luck for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
No.
This is exactly what I came here for.
Top-notch quality YouTubers.
So
Yeah,
the format
well,
is we do 5 minutes of ads, and then
Yeah.
We gotta take a break every 5 minutes.
So,
For...
the Big Wrangle brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Whatever.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that
I
game.
love that. I love that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Great. No, I didn't like it. No, it was just so you just press stuff and then like
I've never actually tried Raid.
I tried it once. It was shit.
Did you use the discount code?
No.
Did you get the
it doesn't
2000
need
free
to.
silver and the free hero?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when there were the adverts about the Legend 27?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my
Oh, the
god.
Legend 27.
What was I
Have you ever heard
Oh,
of
that's
Legends?
Okay, what's that? I don't know this.
I think
It's a
it
mobile game advert.
the
Um,
Clash of Clans, I
there's-
think.
Clash of Clans, I think.
No way.
Oh, I remember Clash of Clans. I
Clash of
used to
Clans
play that as a kid. COT.
that was a fucking solid advert, that was.
I remember falling out with Dylan Noble on Clash of Clans.
Oh,
Wait,
right.
how?
Oh, that's brilliant.
I had a dream about Dylan Noble. I don't know why.
Tell me
but I did.
everything.
What?
I can't remember, but he was there doing something.
Was it a nightmare then?
No, it was a dream. The setting was like a college or school, so Dylan was there. I genuinely can't remember what he was doing. I can't remember. I definitely spoke to him though.
Did he have a beard?
Dream
like
Dylan's
he
doing
does
fine.
normally?
He didn't have a beard.
Back in secondary school.
Yeah, like in my mind, he's still like in from year 9, Dylan. So he's like that in my brain. So he didn't have a beard.
Oh,
Mm.
Baby Dylan.
Oh, baby
An
Dylan,
adorable
indeed.
child.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
I've been with
Are
him
we-
since year reception, by the way, so I'm the most scarred. No, since
Yeah,
preschool.
Preschool,
that's
right.
impressive.
I have vivid memories of him taking my work in year 1 and just crunching it up into a ball and throwing it into the bin.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa.
Dylan hasn't changed in so long, apparently.
Not one bit, it seems.
Guys, is your thing recording instead?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, because mine is not.
What recording software are you using?
My phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kai, what are you using?
I'm using OBS and also my phone as well.
Thank God,
Wait,
okay,
can't
someone's
you
using OBS.
Can't you just use Skype
Oh,
to record?
that just got big. Oh,
Yeah,
Can you record?
because
Tommy's
Tommy's
recording the call.
Oh, alright.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
started.
could do that.
Tommy, you're the tech god.
Tommy
Ooh.
owns the podcast now.
Shit,
Yes,
man.
we're just we're watching now. Oh,
What?
Oh,
Wait,
You took a
what
screenshot,
happened there?
Tommy.
Why?
oh, all
Why?
three of us. Oh, right.
Must-
He's just pressing all the buttons.
Oh,
sorry. I'm actually gonna make an intro.
Oh,
Yeah, we actually
welcome
started.
to the Wrangle, people.
Yeah.
That's
The thing is, it makes me think of wrestling. So what if you started with, "Are you ready?"
oh.
or something?
Oh,
Oh, you
Let's get
Go wrangle ourselves in this podcast thing.
Wrangle off.
Yeah.
either.
Don't wrangle yourself on stream. That is not allowed.
No, no.
We're not going to get any advertisements if people are wrangling themselves.
Yeah.
What is it?
Squarespace would run away.
We're gonna be put onto a live stream fails. You know?
Oh no, someone's going to say the N word.
Okay,
Oh
no.
God! No! Stop!
No.
No!
Please say the N word. Do it, please. We need the
No.
clickbait.
There we go. Please
Podcast
stop.
clickbait.
Look, if we want someone to say the N word, I can invite like 7 people who will more than willingly say it. But I'm not
Okay,
doing
that-
that.
that-
I don't
yeah,
like
I'm-
them.
Yeah.
N word is bad.
Let's actually start. What's the topic, rather than just saying that's spicy? What's poppin'?
Well, the thing is that
Oh, you-
Okay, laughing
God.
emojis. Right.
Oh, I pressed the button. Skype is new to me. I normally use Discord and whatnot and FaceTime.
What?
Oh, you-
Wait, I
so
don't
naughty.
like Discord. Why would you use Discord? I don't like it
for
one bit.
gamers, Addy.
Yeah.
Discord I
I'd
like
say-
because you can stop Tommy from removing you from the call whenever he wants to. This is better sound quality, but Discord's better for managing a group of bastards.
Yeah.
With no self-control.
I mean, okay, fair point, but it has. It disconnects. I've tried using Discord many times for games, but then it just disconnects on its own, or like there's some issues with the audio or something.
That's no good.
It certainly is. It's certainly scuffed. It has its positives, but Skype's better in terms of like for this.
Yeah.
But unless we're
I was
debating Skype
debating
v Discord.
Skype or Discord.
Yeah.
Is that
Is that the first topic? Which platform that we should use?
PS5 or Xbox X? You decide.
No.
No, that's silly.
There's only one incentive for me to get a PS5, and that's because they're remastering Demon's Souls. I've never played it though. I really should, but apparently it's really junk, clanky and stuff. Janky, that's it.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on the PS5's design?
I really like the color scheme, to be honest. The black and white and the blue.
You like the router?
Controversial.
Let's have a look.
Basically.
What is?
I quite like
PS5?
it.
I think it likes.
I don't know the specs, okay? I don't know anything about computer specs or anything. I do computer science, but I don't know anything about that on
That's a
PS5.
mood.
I know about a computer, but not a PS5. Game
It
controller.
looks like a folder to me.
No!
Hey,
The
I thought it was
gamer
a
icon.
folder.
It's not like a folder.
It looks like a folder. It doesn't mean I don't like it, but it looks like a folder. But since I'm not like big on the whole shebang, I'm probably not going to get it. And it's fine, but it does look like a folder.
Section
Yes.
folder.
I just googled it and it's been described as bold, daring, and future-facing.
I
What's that
honestly,
mean?
my favorite console design is GameCube. It's GameCube. It's a cube. Delicious.
Simple, you know?
So,
I'd have more. If there are more consoles that are like GameCube, God, that'd be great.
It can also be made in Minecraft, which is the important thing. A game.
okay.
Absolutely, very true.
Man.
Ethan, what were you talking about Dom with in the group chat when it got a little bit spicy?
Oh, it's the stuff to do with statues, and people debating whether or not statues in local areas should be taken down or not because they represent all of the old people that are dead who did things in the past, like slave trading and being incredibly racist, but also did other things like, make an entire economy, mostly often things that you probably, I don't know history, but people are saying that the statue should be taken down because they stand for, oppression, racism, and all that, and other people are saying, no, it's history, you can't take it down, and,
Or history, they don't just represent it.
Yeah, the reason why I'm fine with people not wanting the statues is because, if you want to learn history, you don't need a statue.
Yeah, literally.
It's a bit like the one in Shrewsbury, Clive of India. To me, Clive. It's just, I didn't even know it was of India. He literally just says Clive on the statue. It's just a dude. I don't know shit about him. I don't know who he is. All I know is there's a statue in the middle of the town that says Clive. That's it. But, people are like, oh, the history, you can't. But it doesn't teach you anything. So that, for that statue, the argument's invalid. I don't know anything about the history, so you can't say it teaches me. I've seen that thing thousands of times.
And it was
I also understand
after his death as well, so you already knew a lot about him before.
And then the other side of it was there was the so-called counter-protests happening of people getting together in front of the statues or around them who don't want them taken down. But that also extends to people counter-protesting other current events, which apparently is especially happening in London, which is just people saying, hey, I don't like black people. I'm going to go stand in a group and just Nazi salute. So that's what's happening in London, apparently.
Okay.
We had a protest yesterday, and we had some counter protesters come
Oh, I
up.
saw that.
What was that?
Oh.
What was that?
Just outside the gates, wasn't it? The blue gates of the quarry, I believe.
Yep. They stood around the angel statue.
All right. Oh gosh.
Oh,
They're not
nothing
all-
violent came up though.
Mm.
They just shouted a couple of things, and then after about, I don't know, 5 minutes, they just left. So the
Yeah.
police turned up.
Somewhere on social media, something about that. But yeah, I think
I just made a really long post about it, so that might have been mine.
I saw a little bit. Wasn't it like the one group was shouting at one group and they were like kind of going back and forth kind of things, but
Yeah, but it's mainly us, to be honest.
okay.
Fair. It's not all counter protests are inherently like against like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. But the ones that you'll mainly hear about or see stuff about are probably that. Which personally, I don't think that's very spicy.
Honestly, the one for us, they just sort of seem like dumb trolls. Like, I don't know if they were EDL or racist. They just said like 3 things. Like, when we said Black Lives Matter, they said Black Lives Matter. And when we said Black Lives Matter again, they said White Lives Matter at one point. So they didn't really do much, to be honest.
It's
It was just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, if it was in Shrewsbury, they probably were against Black Lives Matter. Let's be honest.
Shrewsbury's a small town mentality. It's got.
It's so white. It's so white.
Yeah.
Mm.
It-
And our MP
it's so
is basically a racist as well.
it's so aggressively like. Ugh.
Conservative and.
But
It's just like old world views stay.
Yeah.
Everyone who's there is old as fuck.
Literally, yeah.
It's Boomer Town.
I can't wait to move away.
If I was there, I would have taken part in protests and things, but I was not there, so I didn't.
Yeah,
But it's also probably good I didn't.
Yeah, what do you find out about these protests? Because if I knew about them, I would definitely, go.
I found out about the first one because my friend was part of it, and she put up something on her story like, DM me if you want to join a protest. And then from there I found out about the one last weekend. And I went to both.
All right, yeah, because I would have gone to the one last weekend as well, but I had no idea about, what it was. But I found, Black Lives Matter Shrewsbury, and I'm following them, and I know that there's one in Telford. But yeah, whenever the next one's in Shrewsbury, I'm going to it. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, Gabby, sorry, I forgot about yesterday. I was supposed to sorry about that. Also, wouldn't you say that it's vandalism that they're kind of like just breaking, I don't know, breaking statues and touching them all? I mean, like, yeah, there's a bad side of things, but there's also the, I don't know, I think he was maybe put up there so that people respected him, or I don't know, some sort of like soldiers could inspire to be like that, I suppose. So, I mean, like, there's also a positive side to that, but people are only looking at the negative bit and just tearing it down, saying, oh yeah, he was racist, kill him. I mean, that's like saying, I called you a dick, and then you shot me in the head for that. Yeah.
It's an understandable argument, yeah. No, that's reasonable. Like, it is just sort of, like, a lot of them are just, like, hard focusing on this person did one thing, and, fucking cancel them.
But, wait, okay, saying dick might be an understatement, sorry, but still, I mean, like, it happened such a long time ago. Does it really matter now? What?
I think the main reason is, like, it's just, like, it's, like, everything that they did, obviously, good, bad, whatever, it's done and happened, you can't change any of that. It's more the fact that it's, like, it's more of a statement than it is. Like, it's like, this is a symbol that stands for whatever, and we're going to, it stands for oppression, so we take it down, and all of that stuff. And, people have been disagreeing with it for a while. I think it's just... I don't know. It's a lot of, like, representation of what people feel about it. It's not necessarily, like, this is fact. Like, there is no sort of like this. It's a statue. It's a dude. It represents him.
Yeah,
and it honors him.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very personal. So it's difficult for me to or anyone to say yes, this is this, because it isn't. It's like what people feel like.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, that's what really matters. If it's a public thing and it's the public doesn't want it, the public should take it down. And while vandalism isn't the best way, sometimes it's the only way. And
Okay, there's a point there. I actually agree with that. I mean, it's for the public. So if the public doesn't want it, then remove it. That's about this one. But I wouldn't agree that vandalism is maybe have them. I don't know
like a
a
petition.
council remove it.
Yeah. No, like obviously, the best thing to do is petition, as he said.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes, like, obviously, some areas just won't do that. So sometimes, like, obviously, it's more extreme in America. So a lot of the protests that are happening there, like, you basically have to break the law. But while I still agree with it, I'm also aware it's not the best way to do it.
To be fair, I think Trump is at the moment kind of scared. I've seen him like speeches and all that stuff, and he's so scared. I think he's like, whenever he talks about all this stuff, he's like, "I'm gonna die." Why? It's like, what happened? What's happening at the White House recently?
It's like in the one, I don't know, people jacking off. No, in the White House, I know they recently passed a bill which negatively affected LGBTQ groups. When there were protests happening nearby, and like a lot of stuff going on, they just turned off the lights and just didn't respond to anyone.
Yeah, he's in his bunker.
Yeah, which is, defeating the point of what the president should do, but, whatever.
The actual bill that
it's
passed,
a lot of...
It was like, I think it was allowing hospitals to discriminate against LGBT people when they're, like, giving out stuff as opposed to refusing them treatment and stuff.
Yeah. It was about medical stuff. And there's also the debate of the whole, if you looking at America's public spending, and it's like 100 million on police and like 1 million on like hospitals and stuff like that. Very unbalanced. Yeah. America's scary.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that they're saying about defunding the police and giving it into something more useful. But then other people are saying, like, get rid of it completely, and I'm not sure what I think of.
I mean, I think...
What do you mean, get rid of it completely? The police would need funding. How are they going to operate without that?
Yeah,
I think one of the main things, like, it's either defunding the police, but the main issue is obviously, like, there's a lot of negatives in police culture, and, like, the fact that, it was recently made illegal in I think it's Minneapolis, where all of the stuff with George Floyd happened. Yeah, that's like the hot spot. They made it illegal for you to record police, which is kind of yikes. Yeah.
Was that
So
before or after all of this happened?
Oh, this is after. Like this has been protests that were happening for a couple of days, a week, and then the Minneapolis police were like, if you're caught recording the police, you have like a $500 fine. Like, because they were constantly catching police doing illegal things. So they made that illegal. But
this spanned the entire Minneapolis police force.
Yeah, like the thing, going back to like the whole defunding the police and having none of it, is like it's because the system is so fucked over there. Like the police can literally do what they want and there's no consequence for it. Like it's just completely like remaking the entire thing. Like no police. You have like specialized groups for certain, incidents. Because to be a police officer, it takes like, what is it, like a couple weeks worth of training?
Yeah, you need more training to become a hairdresser than a police officer in America.
Yeah. So like, the main suggestion was like, so there would be, rather than just big police unit, it would be like a domestic violence unit, and they're specially trained for that sort of thing, and then civil disputes, or I don't know police terminology, I'm a fucking English student, but you know what I mean. Like, it would be like specialized units, and each place would have less control and less power because they clearly have too much. And also firing literally all of the exact same looking 40-something-year-old bald/balding angry white bulldogs of men, because they all look exactly the fucking same. It's actually scary.
One of the things that they're like, because I've been looking around on Instagram for like what it actually means to defund or overhaul. They were saying like getting rid of like local prisons and just having prison as an option for like the really fucked people, which I don't know what I think about.
I haven't heard a lot about that, but I don't know. Like, it's difficult for us to talk about it, or for me, I guess, because I don't. from my small amount of sociology, I know more about our prison system than America's, because America's is like a for-profit system. You like they can imprison people, and like companies, it's like privately owned prisons, so they get money off of it. So it's sort of like it's weird. There's so many different intertwining systems that are like all for profit. If everyone needs to agree on it, so it's sort of like.
I don't think all the prisons are private, but probably quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few are.
Not why is that a thing?
Lower security ones that are private normally.
Yeah, but no, I haven't heard about the whole changing the prison thing. I don't know what the effect would be. So,
America has a massive, problem with incarceration. Like, they have 1/4 of the world's prison population.
Oh yeah.
And they just the laws there are really harsh. That you can go to prison for a crime that if it was committed here, you'd only get like a fine or maybe put on probation or something like that. So, and of course, putting people in prison, it costs money. So, I think a change in the law. But I think, Kai, you might know a bit about this, but in America, the law there kind of relies on common law and on previous cases. But I think if they move to some sort of like penal code, maybe, then that might maybe sort of help solve mass incarceration problem.
What's a penal code?
It's basically like, there's a law, set out, and it's like, for this crime, you go to prison for this amount of time, or things like that, or you get a fine this amount or whatnot. That's basically what it is, and it's not like where the judge has to judge it based off of previous cases and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just common codes for things, but yeah,
oh, I see.
I don't know.
I guess the difference between that and here is that there's like I guess it's sort of a penal code that like tells you a range of sentences, and then it's up to the judge to like look at individual circumstances, like whether they like did it meanly or did it on accident, that kind of thing. But yeah, the fact that they don't have that structure at all is not cool.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at America's history, you can see, well, in all of the problems in America, you can kind of see how they kind of led up to this point. Like, they had, once they abolished slavery, they still had, segregation, and people were, literally, put into ghettos and whatnot. And that kind of still exists today, it's...
Look, I forgot what it's called. There's a specific name for towns in America where if you are not white, go there, you die, because you're killed by everyone there. It's like it has a fucking fancy name, but they're like neighborhoods and towns that are like secluded in America.
Yeah,
and like all of like if you enter one, you'll know you're entering one because it's got like a sign with like a generic nuclear family of like male, female children, and dog/cat, and it's like, oh, we're the clean country or something like that, Yeah, is it Sunshine Valley? I don't know.
What's gonna happen if you enter there?
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
they're just like really hyper racist towns, basically.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like a cul-de-sac. It's basically just an echo chamber, but it's an entire village.
Gay communities, like.
Yeah, it's literally like a standalone community full of people who all just don't like black people very much. And there are towns that exist, and like, you know, there are quite a few of them apparently.
Yeah, I mean that's just fucked up. Like, you know, at the end of the day, in my view, you know, we're all human beings. Let's live with each other and get along with each other. But you know, because of, you know, this things like that in America, you get, you know, loads of, you know, desperate people, you know, who don't have much money, or, you know, and living in poor conditions, and, you know, they'll kind of turn to crime as kind of like an escape route, you know, and that's kind of, you know, one of the issues. And I don't know what I'm talking about here, but
that's fine.
Yeah, basically America's past and what's been going on in America, you know, affects it today. But yeah.
Yeah, no, America has been all sorts of fucked up since Mr. Drake landed over there and did his fucking weird things.
Yeah.
There's a thing that went around on social media where it's saying, like, when the cities were originally drawn up, that they'd like draw a circle around where black neighbourhoods were, and they'd like signal them out as places that wouldn't get very much investment, and then because the schools get their money from houses tax, it meant the schools was it, so like it just like fucked everything up, kind of thing.
They I know they arrested a black woman for attempted fraud or something because she was sending her kids to a better school because of where she was living. Despite the fact that I don't know if it was like fraudulently done or not, or if she actually could send them there or not. But it's like, yeah, lower income areas have worse schools, and the lower income areas are almost always predominantly mixed race.
Yeah.
I did see something that annoyed me. You know how there's the thing about coronavirus disproportionately affecting like people of color and multicultural people. I don't know the fucking names. And how like that's been represented in other medical things as well. Like I noticed black people have a much harder time getting diagnosed with things like skin cancer because like all of the visuals are only on like light skinned people. And like it manifests different on people with darker skin colors. So like it visually looks different, so it's harder for them to track because they're not trained to see on darker skin tone.
Did they just?
But also the
COVID?
fact,
because that's not like such a visual thing.
I think with COVID it was whole like there have been like loads of reported cases of you know, like black people go to a hospital and they have like a headache and they're delirious, and rather than helping them, the hospital staff think that they're on drugs or something. So they go through like drug testing first, even though it's like if a white person came in, they probably wouldn't do that because they wouldn't think, yeah, they're on drugs. They'd go, oh, they have something wrong with them, and that's like where the issue comes from. Like that's happened multiple times. Loads of people have anecdotal stories about it as well as it being recorded, but. Someone said, oh, these so-called health professionals, oh yeah, I bet they don't even exist, and I was like, grr, no, they do. But it was set at like 1 a.m. and I was asleep, so I couldn't argue. That's a lie, I was awake at 1 a.m. But yeah, no, I know that's a thing. Or at least I think that's a thing.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the online debating club, and we were just like giving so many examples of just like how fucked America is, and just it's so many different industries and things that are all fucked and contributing to one big fucked thing, and it's going to require like something that trashes it all in order to make a difference.
You need total like social reform to get rid of it, but the difference between like America and here in terms of like racism and things like that is that America's is loud and ours is quiet. Like America like is at the point where it's just over. Like, you know, the amount of times you'll see black people getting shot for literally no reason, and then here we don't have that. We don't get that happening. But police are a bit rougher with black people. They're more likely to stop and search. You know, they're more likely to. You know, we still have disproportionate incarceration rates. all that stuff.
Somebody was stopped by police because they were driving. Supposedly, they were driving a car. That's the reason that the police officer gave to this black woman. It's just like, what?
I've seen that video.
Yeah.
I've seen that video. They were driving outside their house, so they got stopped by the police. Yeah, because it was quote unquote suspicious.
Like they're just hiding their racism basically because that is racial profiling.
Yeah, I know there was a really controversial study that happened ages ago, but it was ridiculously important for racial equality. Was a journalist literally just trained and was hired as a police officer here, and recorded everything. And in talking to everyone who he was training with and other officers and things like that, he frequently have open conversations about their opinions on current events and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this happened early 2000s.
All right.
And loads of them were you see whatever from wherever that isn't here, or someone who looks like this or someone who looks like that, they'd stop them. You see a white person, nah. Obviously they used a bit more derogatory words, which I don't want to use, but it was just loads of police officers were just blatantly saying, yeah, no, I'd stop someone who looks like that from Mexico, but I wouldn't stop someone who's from Colchester. And then that study got released. The dude immediately got fired from the police, but it led to loads and loads of media backlash, and the police had to go through a reform thing. So now they teach a lot of classes on how to not racially profile people, but it's still an issue because it's still so deeply ingrained in people.
Yeah.
But we have steps in the right direction, but no, there's still a lot wrong. Yeah.
There was a post that I saw on Instagram where it was in I don't know what shop it was. I'm hoping it was America. It was foundation, and then the lighter coloured skin ones were just in normal boxes, but then the darker coloured skin ones were in the boxes that you had to get a security person to undo, or else it would set off an alarm. And it's just
oh my god.
Ugh. Just everywhere.
It's rather sad.
And then because stuff like that keeps happening, it's gonna make people.
I saw a picture, and it was 3 tweets from 3 separate people. It was 6 tweets, two each from each of these 3 people. And the first was when the protests started for George Floyd in America, and these people were you should stay inside when the government tells you to. No, it was the other way around. It was when lockdown was announced, and they were the government can't tell us what to do. If I want to go to Walmart, I'll go to Walmart. If I want to get my haircut, I'll get my haircut. And these 3 people were saying that sort of thing. And the next one was when the government announced curfew to stop the protesting happening. And they were when the government tells you to stay inside, next time you should stay inside. All of that.
Yeah.
Which just sort of shone a light on how some people think about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
They just think whatever they want.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, you see these anti-lockdown protesters with guns, protesting, and especially in these open carry states, they have these guns, and the police just don't do anything with them, and they just kind of treat them, peacefully and whatnot. But when you get, some peaceful protesters, they suddenly just tear gas them and whatnot. Just
someone threw a bottle of water at a line of riot police with their shields up. One bottle of water that was open as well. And immediately they opened fire on the entire crowd.
Yeah,
with rubber bullets and stuff.
That's just over, an excessive use of force.
Because the whole thing is that it's against police brutality that they're protesting, but then they're responding with police brutality.
Yeah.
It's certainly something.
Yeah. Because if you look at our police here, I mean, although yes, there are loads of problems with our police as well, but if you look, both the Black Lives Matter ones, there was one in Birmingham where there was no arrests at all, and there was 3,000 or 4,000 people there. They managed it really well, and it wasn't they didn't basically don't open fire on the crowd, and it should be okay, It's
rare that the only time that a protest starts getting violent with like this, it's usually in response to violence.
Yeah.
It's rare that any of the actual organised protesters actually do anything first.
It's like, I mean, if you let two opposing sides interact, and that can kind of cause it as well. Yeah.
It is always it's always ironic when you see like the people protesting Black Lives Matter, and there's like a line of police stopping them, and then you have the counter protest, and there's a line of police guarding them. And how it's like, I don't know what that speaks to, but to me it's some amount of irony. I don't know. If you feel like you were able to do a Nazi salute in public seriously, then you need to be punished, because that's just not okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Very, very not cool indeed. Were you, with the thing you were talking about on WhatsApp, was it specifically with Churchill things? Also, what side were you on, out of interest?
I only said that specifically. That's like one of the recent news stories that I heard was specifically there was a statue in, I think, London, where a group of these people who were doing the Nazi salute were guarding a Churchill statue, because obviously people are going around saying, take down the Churchill statues. He was a fat racist, this, that, and the other. In terms of taking down the statues, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not incredibly for it, but I understand why, and I agree with it. But I was just laughing at the irony of guarding someone who who was in charge of the country, fighting the Nazis, and you are guarding him and doing the Nazi salute whilst guarding him. It's such a massive disconnect. And the only reason that they're doing that isn't because they care about Churchill, it's just because they disagree with what the other people care about.
Yeah, literally.
Like, that's the sole reason that they're there, because of them doing the Nazi salute. If they weren't doing that, then they just like Churchill, they care about the history, and that's fine, that's completely valid. But you clearly don't if you're doing the Nazi salute, when it was his job to make it so we weren't doing that. But no, I don't disagree that statues, I think quite a few of them should be taken down, because they are glorifying and just kind of washing over like the negative parts. And in my opinion, if it's about history, don't need a statue glorifying someone for you to know their history. Like, you can have a statue dedicated to someone, but not glorifying them.
What way is it glorifying them? It's just a statue to show that they were there in history.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different from picturing a book to having a stone monument to yourself. Like, if I had a statue of me fucking standing, doing some heroic pose, and, like, an autobiography, or a biography.
Statues are not necessarily meant to glorify the person. And, I don't know, I disagree with people turning down statues, because it dehumanizes them. Like, it gets rid of all they were in a time when their opinions were normal. Like, it's not exactly their fault. I don't want to use fault, because I don't know. It's just.
That's fair. No, I understand. Like, it is. Like, I'm not 100% for it, but in general, I am. However, my counter to that. The views held at the time, people have always known that it ain't right. There's never been a time in history where everyone's unanimously agreed, yes, this group of people is lesser because... Like, there's always been people who are like, that's fucked up.
Of course, but they were the minority. And many of the times the statues the people were portraying.
I don't know if they were the minority or not, but... Actually, no, yeah, they probably were.
They certainly were. At every point in history, there's been civilizations that think that other civilizations are beneath them.
Yeah.
In fact, probably quite a lot of ancient history.
Yeah, that's true. But still, in terms of to me, like the middle ground, which would satisfy everyone, is like addendums, like putting shit on the statue that are like actually talk about the history like both ways.
That's a good idea.
Because, like, I mean, I know Dom said that as well, which is why, like, while I agree with taking down the statues, that's also like something that I would be happy with. Because if it's about educating about our history, if it's literally just a statue, it's like, that's what the dude looked like. Like I said, I don't know shit about Clive of India. I don't know who he is. I didn't even know it's of India until people were talking about it off the news. If there was like a description on the statue, if there was a description on the statue, it'd be fine. You know, like, this dude was a part of the East India Company and he established this, that, and the other, and, you know, all of that stuff, and then you can learn about it, and that's cool. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be taken down. It's just my. Sorry, yeah, go on.
I'm so sorry, but I have to go. So I'll see you.
Yeah, that's okay.
This is nice.
I was going to mention about plaques actually, so I'm glad you brought it up. So I'll see you.
See you. Thanks for hearing.
Wait.
Bye.
We were talking about this whole thing last week on Debating Club, and one interesting thing that was brought up was that, like, the benefit of having a statue, I think it only applies if there's like a plaque that explains this, but one potential benefit is that it explains that, like, originally our society had this one view, and then we, like, changed our minds and, like, revoked everything, and it's like a testament to the fact that society's views can change, and that's something that we should, like,
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
See, that's good.
what I was
That's
saying,
good.
yeah,
That's good.
that's good.
Yeah.
I maybe put the statue in a museum or something, because
Yeah.
like it still glorifies them if it's out on the street, if you know what I mean.
Because there are other ways of telling people what the history was. I really don't know what I think about it, but yeah.
I mean, if you still want a statue, there are ways to, like, artistically represent the period in history where something was happening. Like, you know, if you want to represent Churchill and, you know, wartime Britain, I'm sure you could just do something with a poppy, or, you know, do something to do with the war. That's, like, representative of it, but not necessarily glorifying it. And you can still inform people, and it would still be, like, a nice public thing. But, you know, even if, like, I'm still fine if people keep the statues, but, you know, really just an addendum on it.
So you think that Churchill doesn't deserve any glory for the things he did do, like in the wartime? His views. You think that his views as a racist mean that his achievements are null and void, as such?
Not necessarily, but I don't understand why you think that. No, I do think, like, obviously, like, what was done, that was good, should be honoured, but that can be honoured in a way without just, like, glossing over the bad parts.
I mean,
like,
I don't think it is glossing over the bad parts. Like, I don't think a statue is just a lump of rock. Like, if someone doesn't, when someone sees a statue, they can look up who it is and they can see both sides of the story. Because I don't think the racism is glossed over.
That's fair. Like I said before, like, a lot of it is just how you feel about it, like how the public feels. If you think a statue is literally just a statue and it's, like, you know, the gateway to curiosity, like, on your own, then that's what it is to you. If it's something else to you, then it's something else.
I guess the pickle is that, like, as far as, like, I mean, this was my view until it's recently come out that he's, like, not very nice, is that, like, we've been educated that he's this really cool bloke who's, like, saved us from the war, but then there's this fact that he, like, sent 150,000 Kenyans to concentration camps and, like, hates Indians and stuff. So I guess, like, if they represented the whole Churchill saving the world thing in, like a picture of, I don't know, VE Day or something, that would encompass more what of they're trying to represent rather than using Churchill. But
yeah, I mean, I think, you know, what we were saying about, you know, the bad sides of him being glossed over, I think, you know, yeah, they are. I mean, I didn't know much about, you know, what Churchill's bad sides to him were until somebody wrote Churchill was a racist on there. So I think, you know, I think it's a failure of our education system in a way, because our education system is pretty much very pro-British and kind of wants to kind of gloss over all of the bad things. To be honest, like all of the stuff about the British Empire is on the internet. I never learned anything about it in school at all.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, people don't learn about this, and people don't, like in Germany, people do learn about, Nazism and what went on back then. But we don't really learn about the bad stuff in our history here as well, which, kind of leads to things being glossed over. Yeah.
The real root of the issue is that, when it comes to the statues, if it's to do with statue educating people, the real root of the argument is that, it's we're not taught about these things of our own history. We are just literally glossing over the bad parts.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I probably am just scooped up in the hype of everything going on. So I'm probably not exactly the most level-headed when it comes to this sort of thing, because I do get passionate about it.
Yeah.
So honestly, I probably don't actually care about statues. The only reason I care about it is because people are, it's part of a cause that I agree with. In actuality, if it wasn't brought up, I probably wouldn't support it, or I wouldn't even notice or care. If I think a statue's ugly, I'm like, ugh, gross. If someone hey, should we take that down? I'll be like, if I don't like it, yeah. If I did, then no, stay. The angel statue, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that one's sick. Clive of India, he's a dude. I don't really care about him, but he's just there. He's just vibing. It's not something that I notice. So honestly, I probably am just swooped up in the hype of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't see both sides of the argument still. But I'm more inclined to agree to one side because of the hype.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Yeah.
One of the
my
things
apologies.
that they were saying as a justification for toppling over the statues and things is that it sends a message, a powerful one, that people actually care about this stuff, and that's the same argument for why they're doing the violent protests. But do you think that just violence in general as a protest? I think in this circumstance, because it's such a big issue that's so deep rooted, nothing else is really going to touch it. But what do you think as far as doing violence at all in a protest?
Violence in protests in America, it's necessary to me. They have spent years, so long trying to change things peacefully. There have been countless peaceful things that have been met with violence and punishment for literally nothing. Where this is the last resort. I heard question.
I know. I said it's oppression. What this?
Oh yeah. Here, because in Britain it's not overt. It's an ingrained thing. I don't think it's completely necessary, but because of the scale of the problem, it can get to that point, and it has before, wasn't it, in the London riots, 2012, 14, whatever. Yeah, I know it can get to that point because it is still a massive issue, but because it's not as overt here, obviously in a perfect world, you just you protest, you sign petitions, things get changed, but we don't live in a perfect world. And when that doesn't work, you need to do something else because in the end there's still a problem that needs to be solved, and if it's not being solved, you got to solve it. Whilst I don't want people to be hurt, sometimes it's literally the only thing that can be done, and it's a necessary evil. That's my opinion, at least.
That makes sense. I think that's very true.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
One of the things that Alfie was saying about I can't remember. Actually, no, I'm gonna find what he said. But
that's fair.
He said he said he brought it up in the context of suggesting a debating club topic, and he said one moment, let me just find it. It was just that because there's lots of other pickles going on in the world right now. I don't know how much you've heard about this stuff going on in Yemen, but the fact that that's really focused on. Well, because it's only really coming to light now, but that's been going on for 5 years, but it hasn't been focused on by the media at all.
Yeah, there
And
has been...
like, because tons of people are dying there, it's like, what do we focus on? And then because they're both massive things, how do we like approach them both? I don't know.
I think there's a lot of issues with media in terms of how they deal with world events, because like it's sort of just like it jumps from one thing to another. Like, you know, when's the last time you heard about the protests that are happening in fucking, I've forgotten the name of the country that's being taken by China. Yeah, I can't even remember the country's name.
Oh yeah.
Hong Kong, yeah. When's the last time you heard about the Hong Kong protests? They're still going on.
Yeah.
They haven't stopped. They've been doing it. Like, it's getting worse for them still as well. Like, despite these protests, there have been things that have passed that allow like Chinese soldiers to, you know, occupy Hong Kong. Oh, someone's gone.
Bye, Addy.
Hi. But yeah, no, like that's still going on. Apparently, there's the president or the leader of another country, I can't remember the name, got exiled from their own country and by a drug lord who took over the country and has he has a bounty on his head and he's the leader of a country. I mean, that's the same with Donald Trump, but you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of stuff going on that's massively affecting like other countries in the world and like affecting hundreds of thousands of people. It's either because there's too much going on and like not enough screen time, or because it doesn't affect the nation that it's being televised in. It doesn't need to be televised.
Yeah.
So like, there's too much going on for you to be aware of it all. Like, and that's, you know, that's literally scratching the surface. That's only because I popped up on a random video and it was like, oh shit, okay, that's a thing that's happening. I didn't know about it before. I haven't looked it up anymore since, because it doesn't affect me. There's no reason for me to other than curiosity. So like, it's difficult. It's really difficult. There's not really much that like the media can do other than like continually repeating the same stories or like having updates on them. It can be done better, but I'm not one to say what that is to be done, because I'm not a media expert.
I think the media tend to focus, you know, well, most media, particularly, you know, media that's got ads on it and whatnot, like ITV or cable news in America, they're more or less focused on trying to grab the attention of the viewer, really. And if you want to do that, you want to make it, you know, kind of relevant to them, like sort of in their country sort of thing. Yeah. And also, if it is a world event, it's got to be like super big, like, you know, for example, you know, with the there's so many school shootings in America, you know, there's like so many but we never hear about them because they're just kind of a thing that goes on.
There's so many that Donald Trump can make a 2-for-1 tweet.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I think the media not reporting on these things kind of gives the impression to the viewer that these things aren't going on anymore, even though they actually, you know.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's there's also another thing of like, you know, like Twitter and stuff like that. People sharing news. Like it's very sort of like, you know, in the moment. So you'll get like a week where you'll have like a massive wave. Like I'm sure when like the George Floyd stuff happened, if any of you had Twitter, I think everyone here does. Your feed was just full of Black Lives Matter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Literally full of it, and it's dying down. Even though it's still there, it's dying down. And like that's what happens whenever there is a big event that a lot of people care about. Like people make their statements, they share things, and then like things stop being shared, even if it's still going on, even if stuff hasn't been solved. And that's just like, that's just how like it is, I guess, culture-wise. Like trends happen, and like in terms of like people sharing news, it's just sort of treated like a trend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking at my Twitter right now, and there's nothing about George Floyd or about, you know, even the stuff which happened yesterday. You know, like it's like all, you know, in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah. And I guess that is just like, that's probably a mix of like the media not reporting on stuff as much as they were, as well as like, you know, the initial hype drive it is dying down. I don't know. I think it's just, I guess it's just how, like, maybe you could say it's to do with how there's so much media and so much stuff available that you just consume it all really quickly. Or maybe it's a mix of a bunch of stuff, and it's really hard to pinpoint, because that's just, human culture, and it's weird, and brains work weirdly. I don't know. But it's certainly like for issues to be reported on until they're fixed, or there's major developments.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that struck me as far as all of, social media and stuff is that, I can't remember which day it was, but on Instagram, I just, refreshed my feed and scrolled, and it was just black squares and literally nothing else apart from that.
Blackout Tuesday, yeah.
What did you think of that as far as, being an effective way to broadcast it? Did you think it was, disingenuous?
I think it definitely gets the message out, but I think to many people, Blackout Tuesday and things like that, it's just oh, I'm doing a thing, I'm fighting racism, racism's no more, lads, kind of thing, just by putting these things.
We did it, boys. We ended racism.
yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
of course they're going to do it for the image, but
yeah.
It's fine.
How many people have posted to Blackout Tuesday? It's 20 million, but if you look at the petition for justice for George Floyd, there's only 10 million signatures on it. So it's most of these people are kind of doing it for themselves, for their own image, rather than for the actual cause.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't really say that just from those two numbers. They might not know about the petition.
Yeah. Well, some people do genuinely care, but there is, there are some people who will just do it for their image. But of course, it's difficult to know, how many exactly. But yeah.
So that's the thing that it was more of a thing that people were saying at the start, and now it's kind of shifted into any way of promoting the thing is okay. But initially, lots of people were saying don't just post a black square kind of thing, because it's diluting the message and kind of thing. And I don't know what I think about that, because it's on the one hand it's showing that people are slightly getting engaged, but then I don't know if it's
cut off.
Oh. Hi.
I think my internet just got off. But
oof. Rip. I just realised my avatar is my old Xbox 360 avatar, and
I've been staring at that for a long time.
It's glorious. You should wear a top hat. In real life.
I actually used to own one. I still have it, but it was too small when I bought it. I like obscure hats. This is probably why I play TF2 so much. But I have a full leather Australian fucking cowboy hat. It's sick. I never wear it, but it's cool. I had a top hat. It's just decayed over time because it was always too small for me, and it was never a black one. It was cream. But if I had a full fucking dapper suit,
yes,
that'd be sick.
Yeah. I mean, my image is just my cat, which
it's Kai.
Yeah, Timmy the cat.
Excellent.
I turned into Oscar for a second there. For
the trailer for the podcast a couple of days ago, and he just jumped up on the computer and just interfered with everything. So
quality content right there. In terms of the Blackout Tuesday diluting the message, I can see double-edged sword. It promotes stuff. Yeah. It promotes stuff. I can also see that it's an easy out for people who just want to, save face, I guess.
Yeah,
it's the least that you can do, which is better than nothing still. But I can also see how it dilutes the message. But I think the main reason was you post that because then you scroll down your feed and the only people that's going to they're supposed to. I think it was just black people that are supposed to put Black Lives Matter petitions. So it's the only things that are on your feed are either literal black squares or petitions or videos of what's been going on. Yeah, so it's supposed to focus your feed, but I can see why it might dilute it because everyone just posts black squares, so you'll literally just have nothing, so you won't check anything.
I mean, I get what you mean, because my feed was all black squares, and the only things that actually had actual images were the ads. Definitely raised, definitely made a point, and I was actually, this is a really important issue, and it kind of gets the message out properly. Sort of, yeah.
It's about execution and stuff, and it's all up to chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's shit's hard to organize, man.
Yeah.
What about the what about the protests? Because that's a lot of in regard to like COVID stuff. Like, what are your thoughts?
Personally, ideally, everyone's thought process going into a protest is, going into it, am I willing to risk myself? And am I willing to risk those around me? Are the people around me willing to risk themselves for me to do this? And am I going to handle this, properly? Or am I going to, wear all of the necessary gear to be as, to minimize spread? Am I going to do my best to social distance in a heated time? And, in an ideal world, that's what everyone's thinking. But obviously, everyone makes mistakes in the heat of passion, Jimbo. That's not what everyone does. So, you will get people who are there and they value, the movement more than what's going on currently. And whilst they're fine doing, putting themselves in that danger, I would be fine putting myself out there, even though I am, asthmatic and it might negatively affect me more. I'd be willing to risk that. But it's the fact that I can put other people at risk as well, and, that's more than likely glossed over by a large group of people. So, I'm aware that, that is the negative, but to me, it's difficult to say because it's such an important issue that negatively affects people and also kills people. So it's sort of in America especially. So it's do you want black people or old people to decide? It's difficult, and I can't say it's perfect because it isn't. But I agree with it too much for me to say that they shouldn't be doing it. But it can be done better. It just realistically, this is probably the best it's going to be done. Well, no, if you look at Hong Kong, they protest fucking pros, but that's because they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
But it's certainly it's certainly iffy. It's certainly iffy. You're back. Hello.
Hello.
You're back. Hello.
Got lost. Some issues recently just I don't know what happened to be entirely sure.
You're back now, and that's what's important.
Exactly.
What did I miss?
Yeah, that's what's important.
You missed random things.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The current thing is whether you'd go on a Black Lives Matter protest because of COVID stuff. What are your thoughts, Addy?
Oh, okay. It depends. I don't know. If there's who was that? I don't know. Someone said there were 3,000 people in Birmingham at one point.
Oh yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They were all physically distanced.
Okay, you can't really do that with 3,000 people, can you? Though you can't.
Yeah, I mean, well, from some of the images, some of them were, some of them weren't. But I think, with a big crowd, people do forget social distancing. Really.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if it's a smaller crowd, much smaller, maybe one in Shrewsbury would be much smaller. So I might go to that one. Okay, or maybe the one in Telford, that might be smaller. So go to that one. It kind of depends on how large the crowd is.
Because I saw pictures from the one in Telford today, and they're quite distanced apart. They are, and there's a lot wearing masks as well, which is, I mean, a protest like that, where it's distanced, people wearing masks. I would go to that. I would say for doing that because I don't want to risk infecting other people if I might get the virus. I've been able to see my nan again outside, but literally what we've done is since we were allowed to see each other, we just went and we just sat in the car because my nan, she's in her 90s, and I don't want her to get the virus, and I don't want anybody to get this virus. So I definitely support that Black Lives Matter, and I would definitely go to a protest, but I'd only really go to one that's socially distanced. But yeah.
What are you, Kai? Tommy, what's your stance?
Oh, I really don't know. It's because it's such an important issue, and if COVID wasn't a thing, then it would be an obvious yes and to support it. But then I just don't know if the bad press of I genuinely don't know if the media associated protests for Black Lives Matter with careless young people being negligent and stuff, but then that kind of gets the message out a bit more. I just don't know. I think if there was one in Shrewsbury, the one that we walked past, I can't remember what was happening then. It was just about 10 people really far apart just shouting and like that was all good. And I think that kind of thing is really effective because it was in an area at the top of the Blue Gates where like lots and lots of people, different people, would be circulating and hearing the stuff, but then not like a massive crowd, because even though it's a lot of numbers, there are so few people out on the streets now that like it's not like it's going to disturb your day because not very many people are going outside. So basically, I don't know, really.
Yeah. Tommy, you got a hot take, or
Boy.
is Tommy dead?
Tommy? Hello?
I had you muted for a bit because.
Oh my god.
What were you saying?
What if protest? Would you go to one in spite of COVID and stuff happening? Like, would you go to a protest? Do you agree with it? Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. Baloney.
Maybe. I might. It depends really who else was going.
Honestly, fair.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Entirely different criteria.
go anywhere near anyone
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I went to one, essentially. So yeah,
That's
I wouldn't engage that much. But yeah.
But
so.
you're fine with like the whole principle of people going out and protesting in large numbers.
I'm not fine with it. I mean, I'm fine with it. It's obviously bad because of COVID. People are going to die because of it. It's a necessary. It's just it's always going to happen. So it doesn't matter what I think about it. It's just a necessary bad thing that's going to happen. What matters?
Your opinion.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to just what's happening.
There are tons of protesters listening to this call right now at their door,
Exactly.
ready to turn the handle based on what you say.
The moment this is posted, we're going to get like 100k followers, and they're going to be ardent listeners.
Yes, everybody wants to hear a bunch of random teenagers talk about stuff.
Exactly. A bunch of random British teenagers who have not gone outside for 3 months.
Okay. Okay. How
Hell
class is that? That's racism. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Ethan just kicks him out of the call. But anyway,
He kicked himself out of the call. I mean, my deepest apologies. I did not mean to offend. That does not sound very genuine at all. Fuck. Oh, we can edit it out. It's fine. We'll edit it out. It's fine. It's fine. We'll edit it out of reality.
To be honest, when I go into town and see people, no one no one's maintaining social distance. To be honest, like no one, unless they're going into the supermarket where they have like circles and I don't know, those weird lines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the quarry, everyone's just I don't know, like that's not social distancing. I know for like I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
A group of 8 people just huddled together and just. I don't know.
The rules say keep 2 meters apart from each other. But in a group of 6, I mean, people kind of forget that, and also if you have 6 people walking down the street, a pavement isn't wide enough to accommodate you all standing 2 meters apart from each other. So it's like it's not going to happen unless you walk in single file, but people don't do that. So it's like, people don't really follow the social distancing.
It's always funny to me whenever I see like a news report and it's like they do an interview and you just see them holding the boom mic like at maximum distance, or like there's like the camera has to pan talking from one person to the other, and I understand why they're doing it and it's good, but to me it's so surreal. It's funny.
It is, yeah. Although, it's good that they're doing it, but it looks a bit funny, but yeah, it's good.
It was quite shocking actually, because there've been like quite a few reports on the media about like young people not obeying social distancing and stuff, and I wasn't because I hadn't really seen it in person, I wasn't really sure like if that was the case. But then a couple of days ago I had my first shift back at McDonald's, and they've done like a shitload of stuff like putting in glass panes everywhere to like stop people doing stuff. But then even still, even like the managers and things who should be like enforcing it were still like just like rolling their eye. Like I'd ask them like, should I go in this room that says 1 person only when there's 1 person already in there, and she was just like, I And I think people have just like stopped
Just
caring
doing
about
a
it.
job now, I don't care.
Just
Oh,
off
by
of
the way,
burger.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you manage to find your McDonald's hat?
Ah, yes. Well, no, I went back and forth for about an hour on the route that I cycled there. And,
Alright.
no. Well, what happened was I phoned them like 20 minutes beforehand asking them if they had a spare, and this boring person was just like, no. And then I phoned them after hours of looking in the hot sun, and they said, yeah, we've got like loads. So I went in and they just had a brand new one just there. So it was no pickle. But,
Very cool.
but
Yeah,
also,
if you're wondering, me and Kai, we bumped into each other, and Kai was in a rush looking for his McDonald's hat.
Do you have it on hand? 'Cause, you know, you got to flaunt the hat. Excellent. Everything's improving.
would you like fries with that?
Man, I can't want to buy that hat.
I tried to on eBay. I thought that like if they didn't have a spare, I'd have to look on eBay, but there just aren't any of them. Like people have made
Yeah, I
fakes
guess
of them, but I just like why?
If you
It's
quit your
pretty
job,
sad.
you keep it.
Sell it on
Well, you
eBay
have
for
to
like
give
£1
it-
million, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't give it back, then hell yeah.
Pretend I lost it. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm just getting like an
Ooh.
infinite supply of McDonald's hats and pretending to lose them.
Yeah.
It's the McDonald's equivalent of stealing like stationery and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's also McDonald's pants that have like a little M on the arse bit of the pants, and it's just.
Okay.
Imagine if I put the slogan on the ass. It'd be hilarious.
So this is the pocket that's got the
Oh yeah.
ass on it.
Delicious M.
Golden arches.
Very nice, very
Big
good.
fat
Yeah.
M.
Very,
Oh,
very
It's-
fast food.
it smells like chips.
Much uniform.
Did he just yeet it at like full speed?
I think so.
I candidly threw it into like a load of bottles. Hang on.
Nice.
Very good.
Oh, you sort that out. I'm trying to think of like a question or topics, but I'm brain dead and I can't think of any.
1 moment. Let me see what I wrote down.
Kai's got a list. We need him.
Well, the pickle is.
By the way, my phone died, so I wasn't recording it.
We've got Tommy on the ball. He's recording the call. It's fine.
Thanks. Yeah.
You can always rely on Tommy. That's the motto.
Here's
Well, when I was recording the trailer, I left it on 4K 60 by accident, and my phone storage ran out twice. It did.
nice.
Sausage.
And it took 2 hours to export it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Kind of oof.
Yeah, literally, yeah. We'll not make it again.
Yeah. I have some recordings of because obviously with like university and stuff like that. Actually, topic branch, which I'm going to go into after this anecdote. I had like online calls rather than going in for like a taster day.
Alright.
Cool.
That was with like different branches, and I have like accommodation talk, the course talk, general university talk.
I'm doing that as well, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
yes.
Actually,
I went to all of the relevant ones that I could on the day. It was like a day thing. It was very tiring actually. It was very boring. One of them was, but I had OBS open. And I recorded all of them. And I fucked up one of the recordings, but they sent us recordings afterwards anyways. But in case they didn't, because I didn't say if they were going to or not, I recorded them in case I needed to review anything. To be like, hey, hold on, you said this shit. No, you didn't say that. But I should probably delete those. But yeah, no. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen next school year? What do you think is going to open? Do you think it isn't? Do you think it should? What's the opinions,
That's
fellas?
very interesting.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think, well, with university, I mean, well, my uni is actually, it's a really kind of small niche uni. And you only have like maximum 12, 13 people in a lecture. So I think my uni is going to go ahead anyway because it's easy to, socially distance. But, big unis, I think,
probably hold lectures online if the situation is still bad, but allow people to move into accommodation because not everybody's just going to be able to stay at home. So yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
I saw this just popped up online. There's this video. It says, "Is it time to get over slavery? Black liberals versus black conservatives." So, what do you guys think of that?
What was it called again? Sorry.
Is it time to get over slavery? Black liberals versus black conservatives.
What, as in, like, just
Oh.
stop caring about it, kind of thing?
I think so. I would guess so, because so conservatives are thinking it happened in the past, so we have to now move on.
Yeah.
And it's thinking it's a part of our history, so
I don't believe we should move on from it because slavery still happens today, but not to the same, not the same style. It's not commercialized, but there is a whole lot more slavery going on now than there ever was under the East India Trading Company. It is a rampant issue that still affects everyone. It still affects loads of people today.
Slavery is an issue, but saying that it's much more prominent than it was in the past. I don't think that's true, though, because
it's a lot more underground. There's lots more
I'm fairly sure it is actually bigger than it was in the past.
Yeah, but based on one, there's more people alive. Two, it's still such a massive problem. Like a couple of days ago, my mum, she works in the fire service. There was a burning weed farm, so they all had a lovely time there, except for the fact that everyone had left except for two people. The gate was welded shut, so the entrance had been closed from the outside with a fucking welder, and there were two slaves inside who were living there, being forced to manage and work in the farm. And one was dead on arrival. Oh yeah, it was in England. One was dead on arrival. The other one died in hospital, and that's that's the most recent account of that is directly reasonably personal to me of slavery happening, but it is really common. Obviously it mixes in with human trafficking, sex trafficking, that sort of thing, but it's still a thing, and it's still really big. There's also loads of stuff saying it's predicted to be bigger than now than it ever has been before and all that stuff. But going back to the question, now we really shouldn't just get over it.
Well, when you said about it, I was thinking well, slavery isn't as much of a thing anymore, but the effects of it are still massive, and that's why all this racism is going on. But I didn't realise it was still bigger than it was before. So.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not legal, but it's happening a lot more illegally. But I think it's easy to say that because it's maybe on the technicality it isn't, but it's the same sort of crime. Just using a human and imprisoning them completely. It's essentially slavery, even if it's technically this, that, or the other. It's pretty much the same. I don't know legal terms. I'm not a law student. Leave me alone.
Is there a country or a race that's because there was when slavery was a thing ages ago, there was certain races that were more or just high proportions of them were slaves. Is that still a thing now, or is it just kind of just everywhere?
There are countries that are more disproportionately affected by it. They have more people wanting to leave their country, wanting new opportunities in England, America, France, wherever. There's a lot of that happening. I don't know which countries. I can't remember, but I know there are it's commonly people who are trying to escape or leave for to feed their family or whatever, so they sign up to this thing, and it's just the moment they sign up to it is the reason you get loads of houses of multiple occupation and stuff like that, people living in really poor conditions. They can't move out, because if they do, then they're cut off immediately, because they sign up to get a passport by this one person, and it's a whole big crime thingy-majiggy. But yeah, no, it does affect certain countries more. I don't know which ones and I don't know which people, but there's that whole thing that does go on.
Some stats about that because I genuinely thought that it was like the minority of things that were being affected racism wise, slavery wise. So.
Wait, do you guys want to watch the video? I can screen share and then.
Excellent.
Plus.
Do that.
I mean, I think I might have to go in a bit, but if you put it in the chat and as
put
well,
it in the chat and also screen share it as well. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Can you check?
Watch this conservative Rex liberal video.
Okay. There we go. Come on. Nah, damn it. Can you check?
Okie dokie,
Oh,
balls.
that's on right there.
Because I haven't heard anything from Ben Shapiro in a while.
Oh, I used to listen to
Ben
his
Shapiro,
podcast.
my hero.
I
Here's a podcast.
Yeah.
Does he?
The Ben Shapiro show. It was. I don't know why I listened to it. I think it was because like he was on PewDiePie for a little bit, and then I like became addicted to his voice.
He does have a voice, but
Yes, he does have a voice, well, doesn't he?
oh, you know what I meant, like capital A, capital V, a voice, not. Shut up, nerd. Shut up,
Breaking
nerd.
news.
Don't bully.
Ben Shapiro has voice.
Ben Shapiro can speak and has a voice. Oh, you're a link.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Give me a
fancy.
link.
You're a link.
25 whole minutes.
Oh wait, I think.
Wait, does that happen anytime you send a message?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, that's cool.
Does it happen to me?
Oh yeah, it does. Oh, that's.
Does it?
I did not know that.
Oh, does it only happen? Oh, it only happens when you don't have chat open. Okay, that's weird. I don't think Tommy or I are going to come up because we don't have.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Oh, it comes up on your little bubble at the top right.
Does it?
You've got like a little
that's
icon
cute.
that represents you. And Tommy's little full stop. button.
Yeah, I might have to go in a minute actually, but yeah, I mean, it's been really good doing the podcast, and
Yeah. It's been
afterwards we
very
can
fun.
figure out what we're going to do with the recordings and edit them down and whatnot. Because I think doing a video podcast, although it would be cool, I mean, I guess some of us have cameras, but some people don't, or some people don't want to have their face on it. So it's like probably we do like an avatar for them.
I mean, I got my Xbox 360 avatar, so I'm good.
Hello.
Hello.
I think-
Yeah, there was a brief lag spike, I think. I got my Xbox 360 avatar, so I'm all game. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What editing software would you be using? Because I need to find some that I don't have to.
I just have, for me, I've got iMovie, which is good enough for me. I've
Fair
got
enough.
this, that
Okay.
screen-
Wow.
Beep.
Oh no.
Rest in peace.
That was great.
Phone users.
Yeah. Apologies to my listeners. Is this still recording the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I did not realise that. Okay, stop sharing there.
If we want to do it audio only, the better way to get good quality is if every single person can record their audio individually and send it all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Because
would
it would be from their mic. So I have screen recording software as well, so I can record my audio as well if you want me to, and I can send that over.
The kind of principle that I think we're going to do it on is that some people just won't know how to or won't care enough to get high quality stuff, but for the people who want to, as in if people don't care, then we'll just use the OBS recording. But if people want to have their voices in high quality, then they can. I've got my phone recording me, and also that has a microphone as well. So if people want to have it in high quality, then they can. But
I did
So
that
now you're giving an opportunity to flex on having a microphone. Yes.
I mean, I phrased it in a weird way. I'm literally just using the phone's microphone.
yeah, no.
But
The phone microphone is actually really good.
better
but
than
yeah, no.
this.
Yeah.
I did
I'll
somebody for my EPQ on my phone, and it was pretty good quality. So
For recording voices, phone mic's actually surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of having a phone. But
Yeah. I mean, the microphone is important.
exactly.
Yes. Otherwise, you cannot make a phone call.
I guess the important thing is that like the video, the screen recording footage that will be getting the video, apart from me, of this podcast is like good enough that like people won't care, and it's not going to be very many people watching anyway. So no one's going to care about like the quality of the video quality or like audio quality. As long as you can hear it, then it'll be fine. But if we
Aye, Catherine. The question is, it's feeling like it's outro time. Because people have to go, and the conversation is changed pace to just the podcast itself. So is it outro time? Because it's been like an hour and a half. So I don't know.
Well, before we do the outro, I'm going to move back to my formal setting at the desk instead of lying on the bed. Shut the blinds because the sun
get optimal lighting.
Yeah.
Alright.
Also, it sounded like because like we had like a load of people responding saying that they'd like to, but it sounded like people would like to do a second episode and like see if we actually do it properly and like if it's not just awkward and stuff. So I think a lot more people will be coming on next time. A lot of people would say that they'll come on next time as well. So that's
with this episode,
cool.
we kind of went into it straight away, kind of like. But I think, it's been really good. And right, okay. Outro time.
See, now this is what you got to say. You got to phrase it. Not, it's been really good. This has been a great first episode, guys. I think we're looking forward to some more participants next time. Send us your questions in the comments below. What you want us to debate. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, iTunes, your podcast listening platform,
Google
wherever
Plus,
you're listening to this.
Minecraft launcher.
Send us your Minecraft builds.
Do that. Yeah.
But
It's Fortnite bad.
We'll review them in the next episode.
It's
going to be hard to do on the audio only version, but we'll work through it.
In the audio only version, we'll talk over how one of us wins a Minecraft Hunger Games survival map.
Teach me Minecraft.
See, what you do is you see the block in front of you, you just dig it, and then you win the game.
Do that, and I can make a crafting table now.
No way.
You're done. You've beat the game. Literally beat the game.
Addy, have you got Minecraft?
Yeah, I do.
Are you on our Minecraft server?
Yeah. Yes, please, I will.
What is happening?
He's not.
Yeah, Kai,
the important thing
of the server. If you can,
send
either
us
link
quickly. Your
if you send them Minecraft username, then you can be whitelisted.
Yeah.
But outro, I guess. Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
I hope you all enjoyed. Anyone
listening to our first episode of our podcast? I know it was a little bit kind of rough in places, but we're new to this. We haven't done none of us have done a podcast before, but thank you everybody for listening. I hope you found it enjoyable and interesting, and I will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So then the editor then cuts it there, and then it's all good.
Yeah, I think so.
Now I can get naked.
Don't forget.
No.
Remember to smash the like button. Make sure this gets 25 million likes, and
we hit the like goal of
subscribe and turn post notifications off. Because if you do that, you'll get good luck for the rest of your life.
If this podcast gets 50 likes on the next podcast, I will eat a hot chili pepper.
Yeah.
Podcast challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And if it gets 200,000 likes, I'm gonna backflip off the London Eye.
That's pretty good. I'm down for that. You know.
Yeah.
200k likes to backflip off the London Eye.
Yeah, sure.
Smash
Hey,
Right. Play. Yeah.
Hey.
It's been fun, everyone.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been good.
Also very interesting as well.
And thank you, everybody, listeners, for watching. If you want to be on the show, then feel free to message us on Instagram at @Wrangle_podcast. And if you have anything you want to say, feel free to type it in the comments below. That's some actual intro intro? Outro. That was.
Just say adios. Or adios. Adios? I don't know. Don't care.
Yeah.
Thank
Alas,
you,
what happened?
Oscar, Addy, Tommy, Ethan, Gabby, for coming,
Kai.
and for you to watching, and yeah.
Stay lit. Wrangle
This needs
gangle.
to end. This outro needs to end soon. Make it
This
stop.
is our wrangle. It's our
Wrangly symbol.
Oh no, don't throw gang signs.
How's
wrangle guy.
No. I don't want you to
God.
be Jake Paul. Please stop. Kill it.
What's wrong with
End
Jake
it.
Paul?
End it.
Oh, and you were Jake Paul.
I'm not a Jake Paul, no. Isn't he in prison? One of them's in prison.
He is
Yeah,
in
he-
prison for protesting.
Yeah.
He did things he went through.
Looting.
Fair enough.
Apparently he just
Saying
mad
looted.
that looting
Wait.
cops, yo.
I have the perfect way to end it, and to like force end it.
Do it.
You
Oh,
can kick anyone from the call, so just kick everyone.
Oh shit.
no!
Don't worry, I got rid of him before he did it.
Oh.
So good, boys.
Democracy.
You dare use my suggestion against me? I'm angry.
I saved everyone else equal.
It's true. It's true. I have to go. I have to go in like 10-15 minutes to eat food. So,
Same.
Alright then. See you
in
later.
order to lower the editing for whoever's going to be suffering through this,
That's...
I need to find some editing software because I'd gladly help out, but I don't know how to edit. I don't have any software.
This shortcut, which you can download easily online.
What is it? Sorry.
Shortcut.
Shortcut.
Yeah,
Alright, is that.
I have it. I could probably look it up and give you the link.
Shortcut editing. Oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
Alright, that's
Free open
cool.
source cross-platform video. Ooh, pop. That's good.
It's free as
Okay,
well.
Windows Movie Maker.
Probably has more features than iMovie, I guess.
Oh.
As an
Thank you for the
open source,
suggestion.
it's like-
I've been looking for video
Wasn't
editing
I?
software for
But
a
yeah.
while. Yeah, no, I shall take my leave. I shall leave the call. It was lovely doing this. Mwah.
Thank you for
Au
coming,
revoir.
everyone. It was very nice to see you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah. See you.
Time to
And
watch the Liberals get destroyed, I guess.
yeah, we can meet up in real life now, like we can. So we can maybe do that.
Indeed.
But yeah. Anyway, nice talking to you. Nice doing the podcast. And yeah. If you have-
Sayonara.
Bye
Sayonara.
everyone.
I'll do the same.
Hey guys.
Bye.
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 Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.